Rolling around in PvP with the fire team, yep. Got my shotgun, got the hand cannon, out shooting heads. Doing what I can. That was Dead Man's Tale. Took it to the ground, underground, 6 feet. Now I gotta get back up again. Yeah. Moving to the Bravo with the fire team. It's a movie lotto. Take your ticket, take a seat. We seeing what's gonna happen. Bottom fragging, that sweaty game swagging. Yep. There it is, Sin.
Do a Sin little 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to episode number 226 of the Guardian Hub podcast, where we talk about Destiny and Season of the Witch. Welcome this evening. It's just me, Dez, and often guest of the show, Rodimous. That's Rodimous.
I guess. I don't know.
Are you saying you didn't change your name?
No, I did not, actually. Someone else did.
Oh, well, it wasn't me.
I don't know. I don't have access to that, so I can't tell you.
I mean, you can change your own name, but
I probably blame
that
Sid.
leaves one person.
I know. Now I'm curious because I think there is. I can look at the audit log. I'm trying to remember if they do that or it's just other things in the audit log.
It's everything.
I don't remember.
Getting sidetracked here.
Oh,
No,
off to a splendid start.
I know. Splendid start. Go ahead and talk amongst yourself. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, because I'm not even in the right area. I'm in user settings versus server settings. But hey,
It might have been me. I don't know. I don't remember doing it. So
I know. Watch, I'll get to it and see. But there's no way to search in here, so that I can see. So it's going to be. Yeah, it doesn't look like you did it. There is a way to search, and I don't know. It's not quick here, and I don't want people to wait. So
nah, don't worry about it.
this is lame. Sorry, folks. But anyways, Season of the Witch is out. All right, we have stuff to talk about. We can talk about our experiences about it. We can talk about the showcase, and the showcase had a pretty good TLDR wrap up in the TWAB, so maybe we'll combine it all in that, and what we're looking forward to coming up. So, but I guess because this is fresh on the mind of the very beginning thing, this is huge news because they don't talk about this as much. They just say click on an article to see it, but we learned a little bit about what's coming after Lightfall, which doesn't mean like we're learning the specifics of story or anything like that, but at least we kind of know the model after Lightfall.
Newsflash, it's not Destiny Online.
No, it's not Destiny Online, and it's probably still going to be called Lightfall throughout the year of Lightfall. But what we do know, and this is kind of what I was guessing. I didn't think they would do exactly these 3 breakdowns, but got to give a lot of mad props to. I know a lot of people predicted things like this. I was a little more pessimistic. This is better than I thought it would be. I know Hazel and the Guardian Downcast kind of had a very close prediction to this type of model. I want to talk about it, and then we can talk about what we think and if we think it'll be good or not. But they confirmed again. We already knew this point, but they said more specifically the main storyline of the Light and Dark saga, the whole 10-year arc of Destiny, that storyline will still conclude after the Lightfall campaign and, more importantly, the raid. Okay.
Yes. Yes, the
But-
entire. The story is
Oh,
coming
yeah,
to
go
a
ahead.
head. Yeah, the story is
But the
coming to a
story-
head at the
Yeah.
start of
Yes.
Lightfall. Or Final Shape, sorry.
Final shape. But okay, people, you do remember it's just the word story. It doesn't mean the game. It's the story.
Yeah.
The story we know so far. So, what's going to happen after that? Well, listening, I don't know if they had this in the intro part or in the post show, but basically it's going to be right after the raid reset. I kind of have an idea. They did this with, remember, Last Wish raid in the Forsaken campaign. It was after the raid passed. Now they kind of use the word after the weekly reset. I don't know if it'll be when the raid first gets passed or the weekly reset after that. But basically, shortly after the raid gets completed by the first kind of few groups, or they give us a week. And of course, we can still hop in the raid afterwards if we haven't completed it. But that is going to be, it's done. Okay. So what do we do?
That is the story.
Dead game, right?
Yes, that game.
All right, Rodimus, are you going to move on to another game afterwards?
Probably. It's dead game, so why would I stick around?
Yeah. I mean, it's a dead game. Are you going to pay the $100 for Final Shape?
Oh, I've already done. I've already spent
Yes.
100. Or actually, I spent 80. Oh, Kato's here.
Oh, we have
Welcome,
another person in here. Right on.
Right now, actually, if you go to, I think it's Green Man Gaming, you can get the $100 package for $80.
Correct. Now FYI, by the time you hear this, unless you're live, they sent another email out saying it only goes through till tomorrow. They usually don't cut that deal that quick. However, I bet they'll bring it back again as it gets closer. They'll probably do one of those things where they're hoping to get a big push now, and then they'll stop the deal for a bit, and they'll probably start
RNG
up later.
Was the one that found that.
Yeah, so $80 even better, right?
Yeah.
Is $100 worth it, Kato, for Final Shape campaign and raid, and then the story is done? It's a dead game after that.
I mean, I spent that on Diablo 4 and played it for a month, so
I know, right? Even if I know it's so funny when we think of it that way. Even if this was like a one-off game, like a lot of just like the God of War type games or stuff. I mean, obviously the campaign's not going to be as long as those games, but still, even if it was a one-off, like the Final Shape campaign and raid could be pretty darn good. And even if that was, just the $60 or whatever, it's not a horrible price to pay.
No, but I have a feeling the $60 games are no longer going to be something out there. You're going to spend $70, $80 now. So,
well, I'm impressed. When I was waiting after the showcase, like, okay, when are we going to see the price? And they did not raise it, at least compared to last year. You can still pay $99 for the next year and be all in. That includes everything, all the stuff that's coming after Final Shape, which we have been skirting around this little teaser here, and all the content, season pass, everything that comes after, plus the campaign. Basically, the whole year, assuming it'll be a year again, for $99. So,
and what's nice too is you get that fusion rifle
now.
now.
Yep.
With it, like they did with the last one time they did with the Quicksilver Storm.
Yeah.
So
get
a $100 exotic.
Do we know anyone that got that yet?
Yeah, I have it. It's
Have you used it?
Tessellation. Kind of. Right now I'm trying to get the catalyst for the Eris.
Yeah.
I've been doing
Exteriors.
whatever. I'll say it how I want to say it. So I do like 100 calibration units. So I can do all the activities with it on.
Okay. So anyways, stuff. Don't you worry, folks. Stuff is going to be happening after the Final Shape campaign and raid. And what is that, you may ask? Well, we are having episodes of your favorite Saturday cartoons. No, we're having episodes.
Yes.
Destiny animated? Is that what we're having?
There we go.
Nope, not quite that either. We are having episodes instead of 4 seasons throughout the year. We are having 3 episodes. Oh, that's got to be crappy, right? Only 3 instead of 4? What do we think?
Oh, because you get 3 acts per episode.
Ooh, yes, we do. We do. And Bungie has told us the reason why they did this. I think this is going to be good. Yeah, we'll talk about it here. Bungie told us that the four throughout the year seasonal model just is getting old and wasn't really quite working. And development wise, and also for us, like how much content we were expected to get and whatnot. So instead, we're going to have 3 per year. However, that will give them the ability to make them even more action-packed with more cinematics, more campaigns, more awesome stuff. Do we believe them? Yeah, probably yes. I don't see why not.
I mean, it makes
Right?
sense that if that I was talking to my wife about it. I mean, you're reducing the number of ideas you have to come up with by 1, but any of that manpower that would have been occupied with a crappy idea can now go in and flesh out like your better ideas just a little more. Unless, of course, they can still come up with a crappy idea, but I mean,
well,
there's
the
always
ideas
been
have
at least
generally
that
been
one.
good.
Yeah, but there's always been like that one season that just isn't up to snuff with the rest, at least.
Yeah, you could say that. And with the current seasonal model too, as far as like the seasonal weekly missions, which yes, I know they aren't always amazing, but at least when they're going, we have what at most 6 to 7. I think we had an 8-week one once, but that was very rare. And then sometimes it's almost like seems like 5 or 6. It's like ooh, and it's like, what do you do the rest of the season? Well, this is a very interesting model, which we have to remember, like you were saying, each episode is split into 3 acts, and each act is going to be 6 weeks each. So in essence, there's going to be kind of new, interesting things to do every 6 weeks. Not as maybe as big of like the master, 3-month things or this each episode when it comes out, but every 6 weeks there's going to be different weapons to go for. I'm looking at the graphic here. Additional season pass checkoffs on the bar. We'll talk about that in a second. Maybe even the story will revamp then. I mean, I think this is a brilliant model where, yeah, maybe we hit it hard for like 3 or 4 weeks, right? Maybe even 2 or 3. But the idea is just 6 weeks later, there's something else going on again. They have us coming back every 6 weeks now versus... Now, I know a lot of people would do the seasonal events and they were always here anyways, but for the people that want something new on the horizon, they have us back every 6 weeks now versus every 12 weeks. So, yay.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about this. They said we will have 200 now for the season pass bar, 100 for the first act in each episode, and then 50 for the second act, and then another 50 for the third act. So it'll be 200 total for the whole episode, which is a 4-month period, and then the next act will start, and then, new stuff. Each act will always have an exotic mission, will always have an exotic weapon, will always have a new story, will always have new quests, new activities. And also, I don't know how they're going to split this up since there's 3 versus, 4. But when you buy the full year annual pass at the store, it does say we're also getting 2 dungeons throughout the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll split that up however they want. And what's more is I'm pretty sure, I mean, they're not saying this yet, but I could see us getting 1 or 2 reprised raids also. Now that Destiny's continuing on, maybe we'll still get that... sore subject, Wrath of the Machine, or maybe we'll get even Leviathan coming back. I'm happy with all the above.
A theory about that.
Yeah, do tell.
Well, I mean, just whenever they show off the episodes, they seem to be particular about the coloration that they're using to present each episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of curious if there's, correlation. Because especially with the first episode coming, which is Echoes, which, Yeah, the red coloration is very heavily associated with something.
Hmm.
So just saying. But then again, of course, we won't get a reprise rate that soon, considering it's the first. But no, I'm just curious if there's like the little hints, design wise, for that.
It could be. I'm excited. Yeah, we got Echoes. It's red. That's the first one coming in March through June. By the way, the new Final Shape expansion is pretty much right on track. So February, I forget the exact date, but it's right on the year
27th,
mark.
I think.
Okay. And then the next one is Reverent, the next act, and that's a blue coloration. Echoes shows a Vex, and it's red. Revenant shows a Scorn, and it's blue, and Heresy shows a Hive sword, and it's greenish. I'm excited for Heresy, but
Actually, red for Vex does make sense.
yeah.
That's fair. Okay,
But-
that throws my entire theory askew because, yeah, never mind. Carry on.
But this is
window.
this is kind of still in a way like, call it what you want. I never thought the name was important. I mean, I think they just want to keep Destiny 2 because it's a good IP name. I guess they could just change it to Destiny Online if they really cared, but why care about the name so much? This is really moving to just the main storyline is done, and they said these are self-contained episodes that someone can come in or out at any point. They don't have to know the previous stories. They don't have to be done in order. It's not like Echoes leads to Revenant, Revenant leads to Heresy. They're all just self-contained episodes.
Yeah, which is very curious considering they even mentioned like I believe they mentioned their even new player. Like if you just picked up Destiny, like you could like follow along these. I believe
They
was
did
one
say
thing they
that,
mentioned.
and I think how that's working is we're getting a little bit of clue of that even this season. They're kind of slyly, sneakily changing up the New Light stuff, and in fact, they're trying to get all the players to run these reprised missions. They had me go in. I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but they had me go back in and play the Cade mission where he dies.
Yeah,
and
I did
then-
those.
It's the same.
Yeah. But they added new voiceover lines to him, Des. Like, it's like the mission, but they added, it's not a lot, but it's just more like a recap of the whole DLC as like voiceover lines when you're doing the mission.
Fair.
It's like Ikora, like recapping for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's actually kind of cool. I haven't done it yet. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, if
Yeah.
you get to know the stakes and such, if they're,
It's kinda like
especially if they're
telling
not using.
He's telling you the story of the past
Yeah.
as you play it.
And in fact,
Yeah,
you get a copy of Monte Carlo at the end. If you didn't have one, or if you
Ooh.
do, you get another copy. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think it all kind of makes sense with that. I ran them just
makes sense.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean, as to
yeah.
changing from Destiny 2 to Destiny Online, that would be the only reason. It's because it's no longer just the second iteration continuing the first game. Like, this is stepping forward into a whole new thing. That's
Yeah.
the only reason I could see the name change, or a name change.
I mean, I still say that it's whenever they finally have to swap engines, like legitimately. That whenever that is, whenever they decide it, whenever they have to cut loose, what they have to cut loose
I don't
and
think
like
they're going to though.
restart.
Okay.
You
think
they
so-
are
you think
going
so,
to
Ron?
run
They have
into-
to at some point. I'm so
They have
confused.
to at some point.
They can't just go forever. In fact, I mean, I guess they could if they just keep. They don't want to though.
Like-
They want to at some point have better technology, and they're going to feel limited by
For sure.
PlayStation
I mean-
4 and.
Come on, this engine has already seen like critical stress like twice in recent years.
But it's
Nice
got to
burp.
be something because they're using it for their new IP too. So there's probably some stuff we haven't seen from the engine.
Well, even if they don't change the engine, they can also change to next gen only, and the engine will
Yeah.
still run better. They already did that once in Destiny 1 on the last DLC. Sorry, Destiny 1 talk Rodimous. But yeah, this is actually kind of interesting.
How
The
dare
last
you.
DLC, Rise of Iron, they cut off just at the very end, the last year of Destiny 1, they
Mhm.
cut off PS3. And it was this, they kept the same engine, of course, but they were able to do so much better things because of more memory space in the PS4s, Xboxes, more disk space and everything like that. So even if they don't change the engine, I still feel like, come on, at least after the full year of final shape, they should maybe consider cutting off last gen.
Yeah, they got to at some point because it's like 20 years old.
Exactly. Well, I mean, and also to be fair, they've supposedly been using this base engine since Reach, I believe. Or was it before?
Sure, I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I think they used. Yeah, and even Reach was like phenomenal and still phenomenal. When you look at
I mean, okay, all right, but also to be fair, okay, maybe not the engine. Maybe not, because again, this is an old frickin' engine, as is, if they are still using the modified Reach engine. But their code, they have to do something about this coding, because I mean that's definitely where a lot of their problems are, especially right now. But anyway,
Hey, the game has gotten more stable. Remember when we were talking about this mid last season, and they said there's a little bit better mid-season and then a little bit more at the beginning of the season. We'll see. Give us to maybe mid of this season to see if it. I mean, we had a couple minor hiccups, and when I say stable, I don't count bugs like loadouts are turned off right now. That's just a bug that's going to happen anyways, just because of you can't predict everything. I don't know if I haven't gotten too many server issues the last several weeks, and even the last couple days.
I mean, you're going to have a live service game. It's going to happen regardless of what game you're playing. There are going to be some hiccups because if they introduce a new weapon, that new weapon will have a line of code that may not work with the other code.
Well,
currently, well.
I mean, I'm assuming everyone here has seen or heard with Malfeasance being bugged right now.
Heard about it.
Do you know why it's bugged?
No, do tell.
So we have Overload. Yeah, so Overload hand cannon this season, right?
Yeah.
Well, Malfeasance is intrinsically unstoppable, so it should not benefit from Overload. Well, it is currently benefiting from the Overload and causing the Tainted Slug explosions to count towards the Lucky Pants damage stack, which is why it's doing so much damage. It's such a simple little thing, but nobody's addressed it because it's such a niche thing.
Okay.
There's all these little things that they're not game breaking, but they are a problem.
Yeah. Also, the Warlock new aspect seems to be pretty
busted,
invincible. I was seeing a video of someone in Crucible, and they were getting headshots for like 7 damage when they had the aspect up.
Oh, I've seen videos where it's people unload of like all the heavy you get, and they're still alive. It's crazy.
Which, reminder everyone, we have new strand aspects this season. Go to Neomuna, go to the icon to the left, where you get the voice lines and see the veil, and then you'll be able to pick up an aspect after that.
The new Titan Exotic. How long do you give it before that's disabled?
I don't know that one.
It turns Burning Maul into a one-shot fire tornado. Instead of a roaming super, it is a one-shot fire tornado. But because you can proc your super, switch to Synthoceps, it's putting out just insane damage numbers.
Nice. Well, I've been back on Warlock main this season, even though I was kind of maining at the end of last season for raid stuff, but just been chilling on Solar so far. But there's so much to try. Yeah, some of the strand stuff. Hearing about all these things. Grackle says
Oops, go ahead.
Real quick, Grackle says in the chat, the reason why they had needed one less season was to free up staff to work on Project Gummy Bear.
The only bad thing is I don't actually think they have separate staff for separate seasons.
I know. I think he's
probably not
joking, but
I know. I understand the joke. It's just I'm sorry to be
What?
the wet blanket, but yeah. Sorry.
Rodimus, did you see? And it's rumored to be that this is the Matter thing, but they think there's like a cartoony looking arena game coming up is what's Bungie's next game's going to be.
Probably a mobile game.
They didn't quite say. It looked to me like it might be both.
Well, I mean, if this is because the next project was invested in by Tencent, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
Asian company. But I believe they predominantly deal in mobile titles.
Yeah, this is just kind of rumors / small amounts of stuff was leaking out. I don't even care about that right now, but I did forget that was some news. Thanks, Grackle, for reminding me. Project Gummy Bear, I love that term for it.
God, reminds me of the old Android build names.
Mm-hmm. Marshmallow.
All right, let me.
I forget them now, but yeah. Anyway,
Let's get back to this.
Even the new Titan strand thing is pretty OP too. Once you get the 4-stack on the banner, it like just heals everyone around you.
Hunters get a Beyblade. That's whoa.
you sound so excited.
I am severely disappointed, for being honest.
No one cares about hunters.
Oh, fucking obviously.
Oh my gosh. Do we need to talk?
Insane damage resist. Titans get a thing that just intrinsically heals constantly, and Hunters get a fucking Beyblade. Yeah, I'm disappointed.
Got a
Okay.
rope spike last season. Shut up.
That
We need
doesn't do anything.
A rope. We need to talk, I guess, about the new stuff. If that's what we're doing now, we can go back to future stuff. But all right, we have Season of the Witch, and we went in and we saw new stuff. We saw, as we're talking about our new strand aspects here, and new let's go with the weapons and stuff first, just initial impressions, and then I want to talk about the story and missions and stuff. But let's talk about this exotic. We have the Exteris. It's pretty fun. It is a special grenade launcher arc that shoots basically like what the Boomer Knights shoot, and you don't have to reload it.
It's awesome.
Now, I do have to say, Hunter's got something really neat that pairs with that exotic.
Oh, yeah?
The Mothkeeper wraps, which is arm gauntlets. When you kill an enemy, you know how it spawns the tracking moth? It spawns 2 moths from that grenade launcher.
Nice. See, they care about hunters.
Yeah, okay.
Come on, Kato.
Sure.
Sure.
That's why
Someone's
hunters
salty.
still have a roaming. That's why hunters still have a roaming super that's never had damage reduction.
We had it for a season.
Well, you get an
A
extra
season
moth.
out of 9 years. Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Okay,
And
let's talk
legitimately
about.
in D1, it was the only roaming super that had no damage reduction, and Titans were running around with like 65% damage reduction with hammers.
The
I
warlock
remember those
gets
days.
the warlock gets the briar binds. I always forget. Yeah, we often still get new exotic armor per season, and that was the hunter one, right? You were talking about, Kato.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Did you say arms, legs? What was it?
Arms.
Arms. Okay,
Arms.
warlock has arms also. Briar binds. Basically, your void souls have longer duration. Yay. They also gain escalating damage. Those is good, and durability as they defeat targets. You can retrieve your void souls by interacting with them, allowing them to be redeployed.
Cool,
Okay.
actually.
Okay. I heard some okay things about it actually, but I haven't tested it yet. And do we know what the Titan has?
Yes,
No,
that's the
I
one
don't.
that turns the burning maul into a fire tornado.
Oh, yeah, the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it
I
called?
saw-
I'm trying to look at collections here.
I don't know.
Well, I saw
I
the
don't have it yet.
I saw the proposed name for it as the Celestial Night Bonk.
Where's the
You know what?
icon?
I would be perfectly fine with the Titans having the capability of a 1 million damage super if they would buff Celestial Nighthawk.
They do seriously need to buff Celestial Nighthawk. It has like become like the worst, like hunter, almost. No, wait, no. Foe Tracer's still a thing. So yeah, never mind.
Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. The Pyro Gale gauntlets
Yeah.
modifies burning.
All right.
Oh my gosh, these things! What the hell? You have like big shoulder pads with like blaster guns on them or something.
Nobody
Oh
said it
god,
had
that sounds amazing.
Modifies burning maul into a single high damage slam of your hammer that creates 5 cyclones of flame. Consecrations. Second slam creates a cyclone of flame.
Yeah, I've
They
seen
look
some
like-
videos. It looks stupid. It's like just annihilates everything in its path.
What's the little? It was an old Nintendo or Sega game. It was like the little blaster guns that you had. What game was this?
Was it Blaster Master?
Before my time. That's what it was.
Anyways, it looks like these little blaster guns on the shoulder pads.
I wanted to say that was Blaster Master.
Possibly. It's been a while.
I know. It's the only reason I know is because I actually watched some speedruns of it.
And then we have the seasonal weapons. Initial word, people kind of like the scout, and I haven't played with the other ones too much yet. Any initial interest on any of these? Oh, actually, I like the hand cannon. Kept confidence, strand hand cannon. Cannons are feeling good this season. Back to D1, baby. How it felt like. Sorry, Rodimous.
So the Strand Hand Cannon shares the same model as Last Sword, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? But is it a Tex Mechanica?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's
Just-
adaptive frame.
Well, if you have it, look in the corner.
No, there's nothing. No, it's not.
No.
That, it doesn't have that.
It just
Yeah.
has the
Exactly.
seasonal. Like,
No, not
But,
that corner. The actual weapon inspection. Do you not know that foundries have labels on weapons?
Yeah, no, there's nothing. There's nothing.
there's nothing other than a line from Drifter. Like, there is nothing about this hand cannon.
No, I know what you
Well-
meant, Des. It's not Tex
Yeah.
Mechanica, but
It's weird.
show
But
lore.
Especially now that they have like Tex Mechanica legendaries, like it would be weird to like not include that if they're sharing. Because I mean, it's they share models like candy. I mean, so that's no issue. It's just curious, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, anyways, I'm back to remembering, and this is really interesting too because I did main a hand cannon a lot in D1 and specifically in the Crota raid. Different raids, I had different weapon sets that I used, and Crota's coming back, and hand cannons are good again, and
It's
you can
D1.
actually. I know it's D1, but you can actually. You don't have to. You can even body shot red bars now. They go down instantly. You can.
Nice.
1 or 2 tap yellow bars, depending, headshots.
I mean,
it feels nice again.
that was like the entire like appeal for hand cannons in D1. Because I remember Wrath of the Machine. You wanted to use like a high impact hand cannon because that was one of the few things at the time that could one shot the shanks in Wrath.
Yep, I remember that too. So and
So yeah,
I've been
it's
getting
just
red
nice to have that
bars.
utility again.
I've been getting red bars drop like crazy, and then we also have the new thing where we can, when they're crafted, we can level them up quicker. Right? Has anyone done that or
Yes.
looked into that?
Yes, I
Yes.
have.
Okay. Yeah, do
So now
tell.
you, so now you can like, so there. Yes, explain.
It
I was
costs
trying to
glimmer
remember something.
and enhancement cores. That is all it costs.
Oh, but you
It
can use
costs.
glimmer enhancement cores to automatically level.
Yes, you can
Okay, cool.
purchase levels. So you can go craft your weapon and immediately level it up, and then recraft a masterwork.
How many enhancement
which is-
cores? Let's say you wanted to get to like 15 to 18 to like get to the good perks.
So I know what it takes to get to 20. I don't know
Okay.
about 15.
20, sure, just to be safe. Let's say
20
that.
20 is the masterwork.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
step
Mhm.
up.
So
it
how
is
much?
89,000 and 90,000 glimmer and 53 enhancement cores.
Done. Well, done occasionally. I would do that occasionally. The glimmer, no big deal because you can get glimmer
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
But
no, yeah.
no,
That's
I'm sitting on
kind of hefty.
107 enhancement course, so
I mean, it's kind of hefty on enhancement cores. Like you can definitely.
You got matter weave. Just get rid of the matter weave.
I mean, no, yeah, it's true. Like, there's ways of getting more enhancement cores. I'm just saying they did make it expensive enough to where you can't just do it. You know?
Right.
not with every weapon, yeah. But I think
Yeah.
this is brilliant for the ones that matter because for someone like me, I was not the person that was crafting every single weapon. I was only crafting like the one or two per season that I really liked.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now you can like get the masterwork on those weapons, like that you really enjoy. So that's really cool. And like I said, it fit. Yeah.
Thanks
I
for
feel like
reminding me
that's
on the matter
excellent
weave.
enough.
I'm changing those to cores right now.
That was my big hiccup is I didn't know how expensive it was going to be. And it's really not bad.
I don't know.
It's one of those like this would have been really handy, last season prior to the raid race kind of thing. Some of us were grinding weapons out trying to get it done, certain weapons done that were craftable.
Mhm.
You know,
But prime example is Apex Predator from Last Wish. Like you finally get all 5 of them. It is like the best rocket right now. You just level it up. There you go. You're done. You don't have to go Dares of Eternity or Shirochi Farm or all the other
Yeah.
stupid shit. It's
And
kinda
also,
nice.
now using a currency to level up weapons really does bring this back into D1 territory.
Yes.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we had to use what were they called? Were they called Orbs of Light?
Yeah, something, but I
Something like that. But
don't
yeah,
care what they're called, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, they actually converted this currency that was, I think, rarely used in D1, and just you kind of stockpiled. But yeah, you can just eat them and like instantly level weapons to like fully unlock their perks. So yeah.
You got your rainmakers, so you get your glimmer too, so you're not going to be too badly broke if you want to even level up a couple of your weapons.
I
Well,
had
there's also
389 matter weaves, so I'm working on that right now.
there's also the phantasmal fragments. There's there's the Here Always pieces from Europa that you can also convert to Glimmer. Like there's a lot of things you can convert to Glimmer.
I mean, yeah, Glimmer is not an issue. Glimmer has almost never been an issue in Destiny.
And I'm now sitting on 15 Ascendant shards in my consumables inventory, which is nice.
Yeah, that reminds me.
Kind of consolidating it right there.
The one update they did, or I wish they would have done, along with everything else, since we no longer have a power grind, is upgrade modules.
Oh.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we have a bunch of those.
Well, you're still going to need them because you people, yeah, they don't have the increase, but there's still people under light level.
Well,
gonna
yeah,
need 'em.
no, I'm
So-
not saying you don't need them. I'm saying I wish they would have raised the cap with everything else.
Oh.
Or let you convert them into something if you don't need them.
Because, like, I'm at cap since we no longer have a light increase, but I'm still infusing stuff here and there. But I have them sitting in my postmaster because I can't pull them.
We need a conversion for them would be nice.
Would you say, Rodimous?
In your vault, you need the get to 1810 or
Maybe.
1800.
I've been slowly working on it, but yeah.
Speaking of enhancement cores, I just got 20 from a card.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, Season of Itch. Let's just get into the story here real quick. We don't have to go into deeply.
Story.
But, yeah, this is fun. I love this. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. But basically,
we
As
start
we-
with
Yeah,
Eris
go for it.
becoming a hive. That's what we start
well,
with.
not at the very beginning, but yes, that's what they tell us right away that's going to happen. And I'll tell you, folk, this is a known issue. I actually missed that cutscene at first. There was a cutscene before that, and then it was kind of like one of those recap cutscenes, and we need to do this, Imaru, blah blah blah, deal with the Witch Queen, and then it goes into the first mission, which was really cool, by the way. It was the Witch Queen campaign, kind of that ending mission, play space for a while, and then after that we do, I think, Spire. And then after that, there was another cutscene, and I felt like I was supposed to get a cutscene. It was kind of sitting on that black screen for a while, and it was down to 30 frames. But then it got stuck there forever, and then eventually I saw like a little switch, and then it went back to orbit. I'm like, did I miss a cutscene? And there is this known issue that some people aren't getting it. So if you need to watch the cutscene, there's multiple places you can go. I just went to YouTube and found Esoteric did a week 1 recap of the whole campaign with the cutscenes, and boy, that cutscene is amazing. Eris's actual transformation.
Yes,
that was a
she
good
she
story.
becomes a hive.
Yes, but it's just so cool to watch.
She becomes a hive. Like we have precedents for this, and it's not good considering there are voice lines that are teasing at this precedence. This is insanity.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, we know this isn't going to be great, but it's kind of funny when it actually ended up happening. And Ikora's there, and she seemed concerned, but not as concerned. It's almost like she's kind of like, well, this is finally happening. Whatever, let's just deal with it.
The crap.
So Eris rips off.
Like,
she does like, yeah, good.
No, I was about to say, we're seeing like the birth of someone that has the potential to become even more of an issue than Savathun ever was. Like, for those not into the lore in the dark future, Eris was the Witch Queen, and Savathun served under her. This is insanity.
One, we are trying to get Eris to God level because we need to give her our tithes so that she'll grow even more powerful.
And I did love that line. Bring me my tithe. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, this is full sword logic.
Yep, and she keeps saying ayat, and she does this crazy seance on the ground, and then she rips off her mask, and then we don't quite see like her eyes there. I mean, you see it a little bit. It's just kind of like the smoky thing, and then she goes up into the air and then transforms into a pretty good, cool model. You can tell it's kind of like a feminine type hive model, almost like,
Well, it would have to be like a wizard.
Well, yeah. Well, no, doesn't she look more like a knight? I don't know.
Well,
what would you say if you had
I was about to say, if you say feminine, I mean, there's only wizards are female.
I know, but now I'm just second guessing it because it doesn't look like a wizard. It looks like a knight. What did you guys think?
Okay, that's not entirely true because Savathun is still canonically female, but she is a knight, so that's fair. But she's like the only female knight that I know of. But yeah, anyway, sorry.
I think it's more. I don't.
It kind of looked to me a little more acolyte-ish, but like with more protrusion now.
No, you're right. It was more acolyte than anything. It wasn't a knight. I guess I just was saying it didn't look like a wizard. That's what I was saying.
The protrusions do kind of look like those, what do they call them? Prince or something like that. Some kind of prince, which were knight models that were mostly knights, but like had slightly extra jagged pieces, I think, back in D1-ish. But yeah. It's kind of what it reminds me of. There's something Prince.
I don't know.
I'm going to take a screen.
Well, no, you don't know.
I mean, but it's also, she didn't get near as, like, she didn't really change in size much. Like,
no.
Well, I mean, she's not going to yet. She doesn't have tithe.
This, you know what this looks like? It almost looks like the alien head from the movie Alien. Honestly,
Right?
it kind of goes back like that too. I'm gonna put this in the chat. Get a screen cap of this for anyone who wants to see. And if you're listening to the podcast after the fact and have not played it for whatever reason, go to the podcast live chat and you can see a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
So it looks like a cross between an acolyte knight, alien from the movie Alien. Anyways,
She kind of almost looks like an evolved Thrall. Because Thrall had that kind of alien-esque aspect to them.
Yeah. Didn't she steal her eyes from a thrall to begin with?
Acolyte.
Okay. So, I mean...
I believe they are acolyte eyes, because you don't see Thrall eyes.
Hey.
That's true.
she's a high-end acolyte. It makes sense. She's not a high god level yet. We got to give her more tithes to get to the higher level.
She's the harbinger, man. Come on.
I'm curious, depending upon how technically limited they are, I'm curious if she's actually going to morph more as tithes come in.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that too.
Because that's like growing in power and gaining more tithe is how the hive go from thrall to acolyte to knight to prince, wizard, whatever. Like
Right.
it's how they grow and evolve. So it'll be curious if they can mimic that, but I don't know if they were capable of putting in that kind of work.
I think it's a possibility. I do want to say I'm very excited for this season, not just the storyline, but the activity and mission layout that we're looking forward to. Looking at the Triumph screen and looking at Braytech, you can kind of see you don't learn everything about the mission, but Braytech always has it looks at the APIs and sees how many weeks and how many things we're doing. And let me tell you, this is going to have a good 7 weeks, it looks like, of story. And what's more is it's not just dumb little things each week. A couple weeks look a little smaller, but then there are at least two more times, even in the middle, where there's another mission, legit mission that we're doing. It's not just to run the seasonal activity again and we're done. So I'm really excited for I think this season, we haven't really said what I know it's early honeymoon period, but I think this season's ramping up to be even better than last season. And of course we have, even though it's Crota, the returning raid coming back. So I think this season in general will be playing, at least I'll be playing a lot more.
I mean, from the sounds of it, like just from, again, initial things, it seems like Crota is going to be the worst part of this season.
All right, let's touch on that really quick. And then I'm curious.
All right. Are you saying the worst part because you're disappointed that it's Crota?
Yes.
Or
I am
I don't know about Des.
No. I am not disappointed that it's Crota. I am highly disappointed that it's Crota. Because they are it will require so much work and retouching if they do it to make Crota interesting.
The trailer, and I know it's just a teaser trailer, but not too much looks different so far.
Right. I mean, again, they will have to essentially what they did for Crota originally back in the Age of Triumph, I believe it was, whenever they reworked it a little bit. They're going to have to do that 5 times. And they might as well have just imported Wrath. Let's be honest.
Well, they are going to make it extremely harder than any other raid for the raid raid.
Yes. Yeah, let's talk about that. They did tell us this was in the 12 today, plus it was already known, but thanks for bringing that up, Rodimous. I wrote... Where did I write that, actually? General Tuck? No? The fuck?
Was that a DM?
Oh, yes. I didn't put it. It was in this... Okay, one group. Where did I... What?
Anyways.
Well, let me go to the TWAB.
I'm not disappointed that it's Crota. I mean, I am kind of disappointed because everybody talks bad about Crota, so I don't have
No,
any experience with it. But
Thanks, Adfire.
it's another raid. It'll be fine.
It's another. It'll be fine. Okay, here's where it's going to be a lot harder than even previous contest mode raids. They said this one they're ramping it up, so I think they're trying to let us know that just because it's Crota and Crota was so easy, they can still make it hard and annoying. Anyways, for contest mode, here's the new things they're going to do: increase the cap of player outgoing damage versus combatants. So yay, more DPS needed. Keep in mind that the incoming damage cap did not change. Okay, that's good news, I guess. Some enemies will gain elemental shields. Okay, whatever. And then all enemies will be more aggressive than in previous contest modes. Okay.
So, what if literally all they did was just increase ad density throughout the whole raid? Would that make it worse?
Actually,
Would that make it better?
Here's the thing: Crota is short, Crota is sweet, but Crota is dense already. I dare say they would not dare tweak ad density unless they make ad density a little less, because
Well, they
ad
just said
density
more
can get
aggressive.
out of hand. Yeah, no,
Yeah, so
I'm just
maybe
saying, like,
same ad density, but yeah.
like we're talking. God, I don't even know what. Like, I guess parts of Val, or I don't know. Like, it's a lot of, like, it's a lot of thrall,
Well,
and it's a lot of curse thrall, and it's a lot of thrall, especially
Yeah.
the hallway.
You know what I mean? Some of these new activities are super ad dense too.
Yeah.
Like, holy
I'm
shit.
just saying. I do not think they're going to increase ad density for Crota. That would just be cruel, to be honest, especially with contest mode.
Well, how different
because-
was King's Fall?
I'd say 25% different at most. Is that a good? I'm trying to think who else.
Which I felt
Kato
is
wouldn't
about
know.
how
I don't know if
different. I mean, that feels like about how different Vault was.
Yeah,
They
the
added or
mechanics
tweak
were
about
generally the same,
order.
but
Yeah.
they weren't entirely different. And then ad stuff was all mostly the same. The only thing they did different was
Yeah.
they added the unstop b-boy and totems for King's Fall.
Yeah, and then they added the wyverns to vaults because they were the whole new enemy type that
Yeah.
Destiny 1 didn't have. So, and I feel like they
So,
used the
yeah.
Cyclopses a bit more in Vault. But either way, yeah, they tweak a little.
So, and that's what my main worry is. I think they are going to maybe slightly change the mechanics of what we're doing, but it's not like the arenas will be any bigger, and it's not like the overall time of finishing each encounter, other than the hardness level of it at first. I just don't think
Well-
when all is said and done, the overall length of it will get much longer. And that's what I'm worried
yeah.
about.
Yeah, because I mean, when Vault
Is that
released,
Go ahead.
I was about to say when Vault released, it took longer because, of course, I mean, we knew Vault better, and certain areas were slightly easier to get around, and we found like things. But yeah, I feel like it definitely caught up near the end of like how quickly you can complete Vault in D1 as its reprisal in D2.
And then what, Kato?
I was gonna say, is that necessarily a bad thing? That's gonna be a shorter raid.
Well,
I mean,
For-
realistically, is
I
that
don't know.
necessarily a bad thing to have a shorter raid?
For
I guess not.
longevity, probably so.
Okay, but how many raids did you
I mean-
have in D1? 4?
yeah, 4 at the best.
4. Yeah, we only had 4.
We only had 4. I know what you're saying.
So,
But-
and we have how many now?
Well, even with the ones taken away, yeah, we have quite a bit.
Yeah, so that's I
Yeah.
guess that's what I'm getting at is
Yeah.
yes, it'll be shorter, but is that really a bad thing for 1 out of the 6
Well, I mean, it's.
or whatever it is?
I mean, essentially, look at Deepstone, right? Like Deepstone
Yeah.
was a quicker one, and its interest did wane after a while. Like it goes through like just shorter raids just tend to go through slightly longer lulls. Like they
Yeah.
usually can be better for quick pickups because they are short. But like I said, the overall interest of them tends to be lower. Tends to. Like people
Well-
get surprised and be all for the quick proto raid.
Right.
Define quick though. Like we talking 30,
Yes.
40 minutes?
Okay. Well,
Yes.
yes, honestly, yes. Now, again, it
Okay.
won't be like that at first because it's going to be hard. I mean, forget contest mode. Let's even just say afterwards, it'll still be a little hard at first because I'm sure the mechanics are going to be slightly different. Who knows, like,
Yeah.
how much damage Crota will take. Like where before, if you had a really good person, you could one sword him versus moving to a second or a third or a fourth person. Now
Yeah.
maybe we'll be always getting to enrage very close, and we'll need at least 3 to 4 to 5. Who knows where enrage will be? But those things aside, the first encounter, 10 minutes. The second encounter, 15 minutes. The third
Yeah.
encounter, we have to forget the third encounter is an encounter. Like 2 minutes.
Yeah, technically third encounter. Like
2 minutes.
third encounter, if things go wrong, could still take 10 minutes.
It could, yeah. And then Crota is like another 10 or 15. So yes,
Yeah.
it's like one of those
Okay, so
30,
How
40
Yeah.
quick
minutes.
did you just do King's Fall?
Well, of course, yeah, we were busting through it, but I think Kingsfall on average is a good hour. That's what's fun about it, Crota, when you're doing chill, on average, it's about a half an hour. That's chill. You could get through Crota maybe in 15.
There's
you know,
there's also a reason why Crota was the go-to raid for Sherpas in D1 to get people the flawless raider triumph or
Got it.
trophy.
yeah. Well,
Because you could carry 2 to 3 new people with certain cheeses and such, but within 30, 40 minutes, you can carry like 2 to 3 people just flawlessly through Crota.
I'll tell you
Right.
this: even though Crota is easy and technically anyone would say it's kind of boring, the mechanics aren't anything great, I still enjoyed running Crota more than Vaulted Glass.
Well, we all know
Well,
you love Vault Glass.
I know, right?
Well, I mean, you also had no attachment to Vault, so
Maybe that's why. I don't know, but
my entire love of Vault is my early attachment to Vault.
So, as something for perspective, I mean, we didn't. Yeah, we did the raid race, and we got some ridiculously short times. But on average, those times are fairly standard, really, for some of the normal group ups. Most of them are sub-hour and fairly close to that 40-some minute mark. So
Just
I don't-
God, and you didn't play with. Did you play? Because you didn't play many of the raid layers, did you?
No, I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine Spire
Mm-hmm.
with one more encounter.
But Spire has a long jumping encounter in between. Crota doesn't. So take all that out. So it's even
Oh, yeah,
shorter.
sure. So it's just actually, yeah, Crota was probably about the same length as Spire. Roughly.
Yeah, but like I said, is that necessarily a bad thing? You got to consider your average group is going to be close to 2 hours in a raid.
Yeah. It's no,
So-
okay, this is a plus to the game. Definitely a plus, but my prediction is even people that don't raid tons, like the lower end raiders, I'll be really interested to ask 6 months, a year from now, how they rate it, and I would imagine it's going to be lower on the list.
Okay, one good thing there will be one good thing about Crota. There will be one really good, healthy thing about Crota existing in Destiny 2. And Crota is going to become the new go-to new person raid.
Yeah, unless they make it annoying, even on normal mode, which hopefully.
That's true, but I mean, because as it was if you had someone that was brand new to raiding, you kind of took them through Deepstone because things were very ingestible in Deepstone. But
Right.
like I said, if they don't change too much about Crota, the new person raid will be Crota, because it'll be quick
It will, but yeah.
and it'll be digestible. It'll be easy to consume. So it'll be the teaching raid for sure. Like just to get people more accustomed to like raid mechanics. So I mean that will be a good thing for sure.
Yeah. And here's the other good thing. It seems like, I don't know 100%, so take this as a spoiler, but I'm not saying it's a confirmed spoiler. The Necrochasm, the raid weapon, is going to be more quest-based. You do have to go in the raid as one of the steps, but
Thank
it's going to be more
Jesus.
quest-based. So it's going to be more like Garden of Salvation finally instead of a total RNG type thing.
That
I think
was
it's about
the
time
worst.
we do that again. I'm fine with
that
that.
was the worst.
and
Necrochasm was the worst
No.
exotic to get.
No, not the beginning. At the end, remember they made it a quest that was easy to get.
Yeah, because the only Necrochasm I ever had in D1
was
was from the reprisal
yeah
in Age of Triumphs.
yeah
Because I never could get the Crux to drop from Crota.
yeah. So I think that's why they're going with quest based. I mean, they could just do like D2 RNG where it's for most of the raids where we just have to run it and you'll eventually get it. But it seems like it's
even
going to
that would be better.
Even that would be better. But it seems like
Like-
this is going to be do something. It said, and then collect. It said like collect oversoul something, and then it said do something, and then you get the gun.
They might be combining for those not familiar with Destiny 1, present company included, Necrochasm was a pain because in order to start it, you didn't even start it in the raid. You had to start it in patrol, or there were very specific nights that you had to wait for to spawn. You had to kill them and then wait for a fairly rare-ish white weapon drop called Husk of the Pit. And then you had just essentially, it was kind of like a red border weapon leveling after that. You kill a bunch of enemies until the weapon completes its XP bar. I forget a step, but then it evolves into the Eidolon Ally, I believe, which is a purple auto rifle, and then you had to level that up, and the very final node to unlock it into the exotic Necrochasm was the extraordinarily rare drop of the Crux at Crota. So it was stupid RNG on top of stupid RNG.
All right, we better move on. Crota, yes. But I do want to go, and I'll go back to Rodimous for this. We have a couple new activities this season, which I don't know, I think they're pretty cool. But we have the Savathun Spire and the Altars of Sorrow. No, just kidding. The Altars of, what are they called?
Summoning.
Summoning.
Yeah. What's your initial impression on them?
These invisible screeds can go the hell.
Right.
Can't
No,
confirm.
it's good. I like it. I think it's like, I'm going to call it Destiny's version of Horde mode.
It's not. No, don't do that.
Hey,
It-
Rodimous has the talking stick.
It's close enough. But like the ad density is insane though, depending on what offering you put in.
Oh yeah, you can do tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So it's kind of like Blind Well or Court of Orcs type style. And you can just stay there forever. You don't have to. I really like this when the activity is done. It doesn't take you back to orbit. And if there's 3 people in the instance, and if someone leaves, it'll just
Pick someone else
backfill,
up.
pick someone else up. Yeah.
Also, we finally got like that kind of mechanic going on for these.
No, I like
Yeah.
it. Like I said, I find it more satisfying than like a strike or even like going down in the water. Like even that, I enjoyed that last season too because it can be tiered. But once they started adding like the exotic mission to it and all that, it just got mucked up.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know what you're going to get yourself into with what group. You almost had to like be specific what you're looking for in your group.
Mm-hmm.
Spire is fun. It's an easier jumping puzzle for people to get used to jumping.
Yep. And there's hidden things, and it's going to be changing each week with new hidden things. That's what I really like about that one. the activities seem pretty good. Ask us again in several weeks. But also, what's interesting about this is they're going to be adding, and even the altars of summoning, they're going to be adding to it also because there's obviously a fourth spot which we can't activate yet. So once we get good enough to do the tier 3, there will probably be some heroic, super god level, penultimate tier 4 thing.
God, what was it that did? That was Blind Will, wasn't it? That had a unstable charge you could throw in at the very end to unlock the hidden last tier.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
It's almost like a sundial type arena. You start in the middle, and oh, by the way, it's not a big deal thing, but if people are wondering what those different runes are, when you start with 3 people, just look for the 3 that are different than all the other ones, and that's where the 3 guardians are supposed to stand. It's not a big deal if you don't, even not a big deal if you do, but if you do, you'll get some orbs pop out on the ground. That's all it's really doing.
Whoa.
I will say though, the animation at the end of that virtual activity is pretty cool.
Yes,
So.
And then you give your tithes to Eris. Mm-hmm. It seems like tier 2 is the safest, quickest one we can do in general. Maybe if you're a good fire team, you can try to pump out the tier 3s, but if you're not sure, go for tier 2. And then, because if you fail a tier 3, you get no progress, or you get a very, very small amount. I forget which one it is, and then you got to do some more. And basically, higher tiers give you more progress to filling up this bar, and then when the bar finishes, then you've kind of finished that activity. You get the chest, give the ties to Eris, and then the whole thing can start over again.
Nice.
Yeah. And then what about Destiny card deck edition?
Hate it.
You hate it. You still hate it. I like it.
Why do you hate it?
Yeah, Kato, you get the talking stick. You're okay to hate it,
Before
but
you
we'll tell you you're wrong afterwards.
Are you one of those people that don't like change, don't want to try new things? Because
No,
if so, we're gonna fight.
No, but this is
it's definitely not Kato.
It's not. To me, it's just. It's a good system. I just don't feel like it should be part of this game.
Oh, you mean like fishing and Destiny? Because that was
that too.
That was so part of Destiny.
Yeah, that too. Change is definitely good. I think it's a really fun system. I don't know. There's something about it that's. It just doesn't. Like, how many of you here played The Witcher 3? Right? You had to go and collect Gwent cards everywhere, right? You built a deck for Gwent. Anyways,
I mean, it sounds like Triple Triad in Final Fantasy, but okay, go ahead.
I didn't play Final Fantasies, but yes, sure. It's that concept of it's really fun, but there's no like.
It's fun, but you hate it.
It just doesn't feel like it fits into Destiny.
But it does fit.
I'm sure there's a lore somewhere with the card deck or whatever, somewhere in the lore.
I mean, I don't know about the lore, but at least for like real life mysticism, like the major and minor arcanas are tied into witchcraft, which, hive magic is kind of also tied into witchcraft. So it seems like I haven't looked too much into it yet, but it seems like something really cool to kind of like tie into, like I said, that esoteric, like mysticism aspect of like the hive.
All right, here's what I like and don't like about it. I love the overall idea and how, to get the major cards, you have to do little mini things, call them bounties, call them whatever you want, little mini progressions to activate them. And then you have to have a deck of 5 before you can even use any of them. And then I like the idea that there's going to be more. By the way, they seem time gated, of course. That's a Destiny normal thing. Maybe I wish you could do more right away, but we can only get 5 majors this week. Mm-hmm. But anyways, eventually the idea is when we have more majors, we can only have up to 5 available at a time. The thing that I don't like is only one's going to be active in the encounter. It randomly picks when you do the encounters. And if you have that in your deck, you get it. Great. I mean, that part makes sense. But I thought we would at least get all 5 as buffs. You know, or something like that, or you could pick your favorite. Also, what's more is in front of each encounter, the card will pop up above that pedestal. If you don't see the card, that means you don't have a deck of 5 yet. I finished my deck of 5. I see popping up at the beginning of the encounter. But it also, yes, every card has a symbol on, and some are obvious, like the special or the heavy ammo ones. But some of the symbols don't make any sense, and we're going to have to start memorizing all these symbols. And so it's pretty annoying. There's nothing above the super. You can't walk up to the card and see what it is. You have to, what's that symbol? And look over on your computer or something, and then figure out what that buff was.
Actually, if you're at the lectern area, you can
Mhm.
walk up to the cards and it tells you exactly what the cards are.
Oh, sure, there, but not when you're in the activities.
But it actually does tell you in the activities because it'll say, like, the one for special ammo is called the Sisters. And it says that above your super in the activity.
It does. Oh, so see, I missed that. I was looking for that specifically, or else I wouldn't have said that. Does it say it for a little bit or the whole time? Or
I think it says it for the whole time, but I could be wrong.
okay, I'm a little more happy now because it's easier for me to remember, even though that's not totally obvious. Like, oh, what does the Sisters mean again? But that's still better than only seeing the card symbol and nothing else at the beginning of the activity.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
There's going to be 12 decks out there once you get them all unlocked. There's 12 placeholders for all these cards.
Yeah.
What was that? 12 major Arcana cards?
Well,
Is that what that
major,
is?
yeah, I think, and then a bunch of minor. The minors are just one-off things. You get them, you get something. And that's it. Which that's like kind of exciting at first, and there's tons of them. But then it's also kind of like, I wish they could somehow be ongoing somehow, or like a passive ability. But whatever. This is still, I like this a lot, and yes, I have some minor complaints about it, but to me, it's a lot more interesting than some of the ways Destiny's done stuff in the past.
The way I look at it, though, with the cards, it's giving you something new to the game. You can't do the same old model season after season, right? Was fishing annoying? At times it could have been. Like, depending on your RNG. Like, one day I was actually doing crappy and Kato was getting all the fish. And the next day it was reversed. But I think the cards are nice because they're just a random drop. Get you more loot, more abilities, or more exotics. It's just a difference to the game, I guess. It's
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Legit.
I like it, but I don't like it mainly for the reason of you get your major Arcana cards, and then you have to go do other activities that sometimes involve the new seasonal activities and sometimes don't. Like the
Well,
one
yeah,
where you had
look,
to go
that,
do
of
Altars
course
of
you have
Sorrow
to.
on the moon. Like, nobody wants to fucking go do Altars of Sorrow, okay?
no, but if
Ye-
you have a newer player coming in, they're not going to know what the altars of sorrow are, and they might. It just draws them to that thing.
But I was
Yeah.
impressed. We didn't have to do a lot, though. We only, it took me like 5 or 10 minutes. That was it.
I don't know,
So
it doesn't take very long, but
I was figuring if it was a major Arcana card, it'd be like, oh, grind at this for like a day before you could activate it or something. But it wasn't bad at all.
Some of them being like collecting the insight from like melee, sword, and glaive final blows. Well, they didn't bother to let you know that it's not guaranteed. That's
Yeah, that's true. That seems to be a bug
RNG.
in the wording.
Yeah, it's either a bug in the wording or it's just straight RNG.
Mhm.
Like, or they're supposed to drop, but they're not.
So yeah, there's this one where we have to get 25 sword or melee kills, but what that really means is probably at least 100 or something, because they seemed very RNG-ish. So, but that's fine. That even I read something online that people were complaining that one took forever, but that's still way better than, you know what, I want to go quicker. If people are complaining about things, the stupid seasonal exotic weapons, I wish we didn't have to do the 200 bullshit things that, yes, it'll go faster when you level up the season pass bar more. I just want my season pass exotic to be able to get its catalyst quicker.
I agree.
Like a lot of catalysts even just drop RNG and then you have to get kills. The RNG seems to go way quicker than the model we have right now, with having to do 200 at worst activities, and more likely by the time you level things up, maybe way less. But you get my point.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are our those are our thoughts on the things. Real quick, any other activities we're missing that's new for this season, or things like that? Because there's a couple of things we still want to talk about, but we gave our impressions on the new activities. They seem good. They're both 3-player activities. The story seems amazing. Yeah, go ahead, Rodimous.
The ritual armor that we're getting this season too. The free armor.
Yeah.
In the Eververse.
Oh, yeah, that was supposed to be. Have they said how you're supposed to get that other than ritual playlist activities? Are they going to give us a quest for it, or like?
Is it there at the? Well, not there, but
I've
yeah,
not
I don't
seen
know.
anything yet, but I know we're supposed to get it because that was part of like we were supposed to get them last couple seasons and we weren't getting them or whatever.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
talking about the playlist activity armor.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then they're going to pull, and we weren't getting them anymore, but in good faith, they're going to pull in what would have been an Eververse armor set and just give it to us. And I don't know what that means. Just give it if we get them again from playlist activities, or it's just going to show up one day, or what.
I don't know on that.
But overall, my first reaction to the new season is good. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be like repetitive, like any other season is going to be. But right now, I'm hooked. I'll actually sit down and play it. So.
Another news item in the TWAB. Later in this season, we are planning on bringing back a selection of cosmetic items from previous season passes to the Eververse for players who missed out on acquiring them. We're starting with a handful of items from Season of the Worthy season pass. This nostalgic throwback, what we're calling seasonal flashbacks, will only be available weeks 4, 5, and 6. In the future, other seasonal items may return. So if there are any coveted items you'd like to see again, shout them out to the Destiny 2 team account for feedback.
Oh, that's right. I didn't
So
see
if you've
that.
missed season pass bar ornaments or things like that, you can get them in Eververse. Hopefully it's not too much bright dust for getting them.
It's nice that they're making it for bright dust and not silver.
I'm okay with that.
No, that's a plus. They talk about.
I hope it's
Oh,
not
good.
like 6,000 silver for like the dawning or solstice sets, or 6,000 bright dust. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. I know. I hope not that much. That's what I'm saying. Especially since these were things that were, in essence, free. Well,
kind of.
You know, but you didn't ever pay for bright dust for it back then. So, yeah. They remind us about. They call them the featured quests. What I was saying earlier about the throwback quests. They say here, it's like MySpace's top 8 without the existential dread.
Has anybody here jumped into Presage since it came back?
No, I want to. I love Presage. Okay.
I heard it's quicker.
I need somebody else's opinion on it.
Okay.
That's why I was asking, because it feels so much different.
Easier or what?
Easier. It feels like the space is smaller. Like I don't know how else to describe it. It's so different.
They were saying that the other night. I was in the chat with like Danger and them, and Danger was bringing like Bell and Mullet through, and he said that it was like it seemed a lot quicker than normal.
I read it with Danger and I don't remember who else, but it just seemed very just different. Like some of the jumps just seemed a lot closer than they were to begin with, and the boss was definitely easier.
I haven't run it yet, so I can't give you an honest opinion.
I wish I knew. I haven't gone back in a second time to see if you get more progress for it or not. or like towards the exotic, because just like the Avalon quest and Seraph Shield, was it Seraph Shield?
Possibly.
Yeah,
The
possibly.
one for the pulse rifle.
On a side note, not Destiny related, did anyone have a canoe or a boat I can borrow? 'Cause it seems like
Stay safe.
I'm getting flooded out. I'm not, but like the surrounding area, we've been hammered here in Michigan, like 4 days in a row with like heavy rain, very quick, very sudden. So the systems can't keep up with it.
Mm.
So
We have a couple questions for the show, and then anything else people want to talk about to wrap up after that. Let's just start with the most recent one first. From Rafi. Question for the show: do you like me? Why not?
you're a bitch.
There we go.
I thought Bell was the bitch. What?
I don't know. I think it changes week to week.
Ah, okay.
I think
All
if
right.
you're Raffy, Bell's the bitch, and if you're Bell, Raffy's the bitch.
Well, Rodimous can be the bad cop. I'll be the good cop, Rafi. Yes, I like you. Question from Danger Powers. With the showcase over and the dust has settled, it seems like reactions are mixed. Either people are really excited or completely over the game because of the last couple seasons. I don't know, I haven't heard that too much. But anyways, do you think it's worth trying to convince someone to stick with it after all the time and resources they already put in the game?
No.
I mean,
Probably
technically
not.
on that question, no, it's not worth trying to convince someone because it's so much energy, and very rarely are people on the line where you can convince them one way or the other. Either they're going to be happy about it or not. If you're talking more the point, should we be sticking with it? I mean, that's everyone's kind of own personal feelings. But look, there's been a lot of people in the community that put a lot of time into the game, and they're still with it. And there's a lot of people that put a lot of time into the game, and they're not with it. So I don't know if it's so much how much time people put into the game. But as far as the general overall feel, if we're excited moving forward, I would like to go down the line. From what I saw, hesitant, yes, but more so than I was. I was a little concerned. So right now I'm still a little more hooked for what's coming after Lightfall. Rodimus, you happy? Sad?
Well, I think that's more stemming to conversations we've seen in the last few days. What I'm gathering, I've only truly been playing Destiny for about 2.5, 3 years. I haven't played the full amount. But you have people who are so jilted, like, oh, Destiny is not what it was, or they're going the wrong direction, but they keep coming back to the game and playing it. So are you playing the game because you're so invested in it, or are you just playing the game and just bitching because you want attention?
I wouldn't always assume it's the last one, but I get the sentiment. But for those people, I think, well, a little bit of it is maybe you paid the annual pass, and so you just want to check out the new stuff, but you're kind of done with it. And not everyone complains after they're done, unless you ask them personally. They're kind of like, it's fine, but I'm not really enjoying it. There's certainly people like that out there too. So there's so many answers to that question as far as why people may just play a little bit and then be done. I don't know.
I think part of it too is like if you're spending the money and like you're expecting something out of the game and it doesn't get there, but you already know how Bungie operates, you shouldn't be shocked if they're not going to change something, right? Everyone's like, oh, we need to go back to D1. We need to go back to D1. From what I understand, D1 wasn't the greatest of a game to play. The
No.
stories were cool, but the gameplay sucked.
Depending upon when you're talking about story.
Yeah, but
Well, just in
overall,
general.
Overall, overall, it got
I mean, Taking
better.
King. Let's just say Taking King kept most people excited for several months, and that never happens in D2 for several months. But
let's also say Taken King was the actual release of Destiny.
yeah. But no, very valid point. I'm still happy. See, for me, I was getting kind of like bored's not the correct word, but less involved, less interested in this 4 seasons a year model. Like I said, I'd be in it for anywhere from like 4 weeks to 6 weeks best case scenario, and I would love to be in the seasons 2/3 of the time versus a half or less, sometimes just a third of the time. But with this new model coming out, I could see myself being a little more involved, and so this actually has me a little more excited personally than I was first guessing. Kato, what do you think?
I mean, this
People,
Okay.
sorry.
Oh no, we have. I love this. So many opinions tonight. Rodimus and then Kato.
But what it comes down to is that most people in society, they don't like change, and they're afraid of change, but yet they don't want to give change a chance, right?
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
So you have to give it. You can't just immediately like, oh, that looks stupid. But I actually playing the game of the new change to see if it's actually truly dumb or if it's something fun, right? So people bitch to bitch, but they also need to like go play it and not play for like 2 minutes, or complain that like shaders are all screwed up in the shader system. Like they just did something new. You can favor your shaders to the top. So I don't know. It just as a person who's only played for 3 or so years, and you have the older people who've been playing it since the beginning, sometimes I feel like they think they know what's best for the game, where like, oh, my opinion's not going to matter because I haven't been playing it from the beginning.
Oh, but see, you got to take that with a grain of salt, because there's plenty. I've been playing it forever, and see, I don't have that opinion, and I'm actually my idea was I was getting a little bored, but I'm not bitching about it. But I think this new model is actually going to be better. Now, will it? We'll see. But I'm hopefully optimistic, and I'm actually excited they are moving.
Some people
to
are
this
saying
new
the
model.
last season was the worst season they've played.
No, not for me.
So,
I mean,
Must not have played at Rivals.
I mean, I didn't play a lot, but I wouldn't call it because of that the worst season.
I mean, I felt the last season was better than Plunder.
I liked Plunder a lot. I'm one of the weirdos.
Like for me, I would say since I've been playing, Plunder's been my worst season that I've played. And I'm not going to count the first season I ever played because I came halfway through it and I was still learning the game.
I think that's why I didn't have as much as a problem with Arrivals as a lot of people did. It's because that's when I started playing. There was so much to figure out in that 6 months time span that it was actually kind of nice. It allowed me to get a lot of things done coming in as a new player that I wouldn't have been able to get done in a regular season.
I came in the season before Witch Queen.
Yeah.
I don't remember
But
what season it was. That was a long season too.
Not
that was
as
a slightly longer
long, but it
season.
was long. Yeah. Do you have any opinion of the new model yet, Kato? Optimistic? Think it's worse? Not sure.
I'm optimistic. I mean, if they hold true to what they're saying, to where the content we get is going to be better, I am 100% behind going from 3 things a year instead of 4. My only concern is that going to be like what comes after the 3? Do we get another expansion? Is that when it switches to something completely different?
Yeah, they didn't want to tell us yet. I know.
Yeah.
And they were trying to ask Joe in the after show, but he was very squirrely about that.
Do you also feel they want the 3 seasons because they're going to want people to go play Marathon?
Wait, why would they have more engaging seasons if they want people to go play Marathon?
No.
Like, well, you're not doing the 4 seasons. You're only doing the 3, and you're getting 3 extra per season.
But they're spread out evenly. It's not like we're missing a season.
But yeah, that's the thing. Because they're going every 4 months, and then we're having something every 6 weeks. So they're actually creating more engaging, like seasonal material.
Yeah, I don't think so either, Rodimous. But at the same time, if maybe they'll put Marathon strategically at a point where it's not like during some big Destiny drop also, but maybe they can't time it. Maybe they'll just do what they do.
Here's a question that kind of follows this new seasonal model. Like, what we go from 4 to 3, which is fine, and they haven't said what's coming afterwards. What if what's coming afterwards is it goes to more of a subscription base instead of purchasing Game Pass or the next expansion every year, it goes to a subscription base.
I mean, I'm kind of surprised they didn't even say it was for Final Shape. It's definitely a possibility. Yeah, I mean, now Joe did say as far as what's after, I'll have to listen to the post show again, but he did say there would be another episode, but he was very squirrely. He didn't want to, I mean, he didn't just say one, but he said they're going to continue episodes, but he would not answer the question if there would be like a big DLC like every year or whatever. He was very specific, not answering that question.
I'm sure he doesn't even know yet either.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
mean-
like what, 2.5 years out.
Or maybe these, I don't know, maybe these 3 episodes per year are going to blow us away. They really are like mini DLCs. And then they don't need to make a bigger one. And then
I mean,
we just get a subscription model and we're happy.
yeah, I mean, if it's possible that they just kind of take the main team that works on the expansions and just combines them with everything, and because I can see it. If the only way subscription is really going to work for Destiny is if they can keep
The content
some
coming.
kind of, they have to keep some kind of scheduled content coming out to make it worth it.
Right. Oh, I
And
agree. It's
it's-
just
But no, I was saying it's potential that these episodes could be like the testing ground to see if they can maintain 3 like large
Right.
sections a year
And make them
And-
great. Yeah.
and make them great and be able to maintain them without like a lot of crunch from the past and stuff. Because if this could be maintainable and engaging,
Mhm.
then I could see like them making a decision to go like subscription based.
Okay. I guess the next question is: would you still play if it was subscription based versus once a year spending the 70 or 100 or whatever
100,
it is?
yeah.
Well,
I
it's-
would, as long as it's like around 10 or less, maybe 12. I would. What about you?
I mean, I would, depending on what it cost.
Of course, that's always depending on what it costs, but I don't mind paying the monthly. I mean, some people kind of do that anyways with their 100. They budget it out or something like that. But I know people say they wouldn't want to. And I understand that sentiment also. But we've kind of answered this too. They could do both. Why not? Like only have an option for yearly or monthly and have the yearly actually raise that to like maybe 120 and then have the monthly be like, I don't know, 8 a month or something like that.
I mean, there are several like MMO lights that do an option. Well, I say MMO lights, but I mean, I guess one of the larger ones, DC Online.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said that backwards real quick. Usually yearly should be better. So keep yearly at 100 and then monthly at 10 a month. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah.
But no, because they have, I mean, DC Online essentially is free to play. They have a free set of content, but you can buy expansions and things to unlock extra stuff. Or there is the option that you can pay a subscription and you get the paid stuff for as long as you have a subscription.
Yeah.
And those are usually the models that work out for these types of MMOs. And usually the subscription comes with the incentive of like what would equate to like extra vault space.
Right.
Or
And,
extra ornaments or extra bright dust that you get or something like that.
Yeah, like small vanity stuff and like extra room are essentially like the incentives. But yeah, I mean, and like I said, you don't have, but for these, if you pay the subscription, you don't have to pay anything else, but you can buy just,
You can buy
Well,
just like a base subscription or a premium subscription.
well, I mean, it's not even, for those, it's not even like a subscription choice. Like DC Online legitimately has expansion passes and like just extra features that you can buy out, and you can buy them individually, or you can just access them all from a subscription.
Gotcha.
So you can
Yeah.
either piecemeal it however you want and buy what you play, or you can pay a subscription and have access to whatever you want at any point in time for as long as you have the subscription.
Yeah, so there's options.
Yeah, like, and those models, I mean, good Lord, DC Online, I think is still going, like, pretty strong. So, I mean, these models work. Elder Scrolls Online, good Lord.
Yeah.
In recent years, I've been seeing more ads for that than I have since it launched. So it has to be doing well.
That's kind of a weird one too. It was actually one of the few games my wife started to play, and then I kind of got into it, like back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's very it's like it's not really subscription, but they're that, expansion yearly or whatever. I don't even remember when the expansions come out. So you buy that new expansion, and most of the time you buy the latest expansion. It's if you have the prior ones, obviously a lot cheaper, but if you don't, they're all thrown in with it.
Yeah.
So you're never missing any content. It's just a lot of content.
Well, yeah, for ES, because I think Final Fantasy XIV actually does the exact same thing. To where you can just buy expansion bundles, and if you're missing anything, then you're like totaling all that together. But yeah, I mean, so I mean, there's possibilities, but again, like, they just need some kind of content schedule that they can maintain indefinitely, essentially, to be able to justify that.
A couple years out for that. So who knows what the shift in game mechanics go for, like, in the industry. So they might find a different way to get money out of people instead of doing microtransactions. So who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Good question. We got on a nice kind of a tangent there, but it definitely related to that question. And then one last question from Average D2 Player. If you could unvault one thing from the DCV, what would you choose and why? Could be armor, weapons, missions, expansions, etc., but you can only choose one.
Absolutely nothing. Keep moving forward.
Wrath. I'm sorry.
I know, Wrath too. Unless they're going to be really
but
picky and say it's only D2 stuff, but
yeah, if it's stuff from the Vault, Leviathan.
Eater of Worlds or something like that. That's what I would pick. Or all of Leviathan, if that counts as one. I don't know if that counts as one. Well, you said expansion, so that could count as one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, technically the players were part of Leviathan. Technically. And
Okay,
I mean, if you want to get super technical, Crown of Sorrows is also part of Leviathan. I mean, come on, let's just bring them all back.
Let me expand on that question a little bit. Why are all the experienced or veterans so, like, hell-bent, or like, I want this weapon back, or I want that weapon back, or this armor back, or this content back? I mean, there's got to be a reason why it was vaulted.
Wait, those are totally different questions in my opinion. I don't care about any of the weapons coming back. Me and Des were always big on the sunsetting. We feel like they didn't test that experiment long enough.
Oh yeah, 100%. They should have kept that going longer. But no, for me it's for me it's 100% nostalgia. And it's not so much. Weapons are kind of part of it for me. But then again, my biggest, like, nostalgia boner weapon is, like, Suros. Don't ask me why. It just kind of ended up that way. But no, as far as for me, it's just like the memories attached to the activity. Like Vault, I still love Vault. Probably most people. I would probably still be trying to run it, just because I had just a crap ton of good memories back in D1 with Vault. It's pretty much the same thing with Leviathan. I've a bunch of mixed bag experiences in Leviathan. Some good, some let's just say I was running with Exonis' crew back then, so it's a mixed bag. Yeah, it was a mixed bag. But no, so I mean, no, it's like I mean, good lord, those 2 raids alone, probably in the entirety of Destiny, are just probably some of my highest rated, just because of memories and nostalgia.
For me, it's even more than nostalgia because that can get a bad rep at times. But I love experience of missions and the exploration, the viewing. And yes, I've already run those missions if they come back, but I like having more experiences in the game. And there was a lot of D1 missions that, yes, even though the systems were not as good and it was lower frames and everything, the missions were still put together very well and they were fun to run. And so if things like that would come back, the more the better. I understand. I'm not mad when they took things away, but I also like more experiences. So I always want more experiences when they can bring things back.
Got it. Okay, but at what point is the game too big to play? I get
Well, they already
games
told us it was
going-
too big at some point. So again, I wasn't mad when they took some things away, but then I guess they figured out ways to make it work. I could take it or leave it, but if I had my guess, I would. If I had my pick, I would prefer everything to be around, literally everything.
And as far as when does a game get too big to play, start any MMO and try and play it from start to finish. They are too big to play.
Too big, like a lot of people just give up, or too big, like they don't ever get it all done, even after years and years, or something in between.
I mean, take Final
ESO
Fantasy
is a great
14.
example.
Not just that. Like, I'm talking bigger. Like, look at World of Warcraft, right? That has like a decade of game building and like experience. And if you legitimately try and like a journey through World of Warcraft now, using like no shortcuts to get like caught up or anything, and actually like try and experience like that content back to back to back to back to back to back to back, it's
it
gonna
takes
take you a
year.
while.
But
Yeah,
I would-
and that's too big. that's too much.
But for me, I would like it. I would have never-ending content. It doesn't frustrate me.
I mean,
if
no,
I'm
that's
taking forever to get to the end. I like having more experiences, more content. That's my main goal over even weapons. Yes, Gator. I like experiences over weapons.
So
I mean, weapons are also replaceable.
Yes,
when
weapons
something
are
like
close
Destiny.
second, but yeah.
I mean, Des has a very valid point though. With any online game, like Destiny's really the only one I can think of that gives you this like catch-up mechanic to like they give you
I
the
think-
opportunity to go through and like experience these things that happened prior. Whereas most other games, if you go and play those things, like you said, you're going to be there for a very long time.
Well, I mean, I know WoW has like a jump system where basically that if you start it on an expansion or near an expansion, you can jump up to like most recent content.
Yeah.
And I think even Final Fantasy 14 has something of a jumping mechanic, to where you can skip through some of the older, less relevant stuff. Because again, I mean, because of much like Destiny has an issue with older activities not being played. I mean, MMOs like 14 has an issue where it definitely has things that need to be run in order to progress that might not be so popular, and you end up having to wait an hour in a queue time for a dungeon no one plays anymore. So
Yeah.
there's that issue for
Of course.
something more modern.
Yeah, if there's things you can't play because you have to play with a group and no one will ever offer playing it, then that can be an issue. But
You all
other than
know-
that, yeah.
But yeah,
Here,
but no, I mean-
Blackburn pretty much killed guided games too. Speaking of like content,
Yeah. Go figure. It
I mean, yeah.
had to happen.
I was just
Yeah.
curious because like everyone's like, let's bring this stuff back and this stuff back, and it's like, what about just trying the new stuff? Like I guess everyone's just no one likes.
Well,
changing
bringing it
stuff
back
in
doesn't mean
ways.
we don't like the new stuff, and it doesn't mean we want it to replace new stuff. We want both. We want everything. At least I do. I've always said, like, I'm an experiential player type gamer, and if I can pay more money to get more content, and I don't mean more weapons, I mean like more missions, more activities. That's where my money goes, and everyone's different. But I would love it if every raid was in the game from D1 on, and then of course if they could even have a lot of the missions and stuff like that. And I would love it if we had like all the missions from D1 forward, and then they had ways to like different modifiers in them in each week, and collectibles that just get randomly put in, so the designers don't have to. And I know that's going to cause problems. Random doesn't usually work, but in theory, and then we have to get things to give us certain buffs or whatever. So there's even more reasons to go back in because it's different each time. That's where I thrive. Those are the things that I like. Instead of just like, let's do strikes again so we can get this weapon. New weapons,
new
new weapons.
Get the catalyst for Monte Carlo so you can stab with it.
I know. I mean, I'm going to do it. But...
I'm just... Yeah, I think we can all agree one thing they could take out is strikes.
No, I don't. I would say no. Because sometimes it's like that mindless thing you can do and don't really have to think about anything.
Yeah, I did some Nightfalls today with
I mean,
Batman
there's
and Ed.
There's still plenty of other like mindless things to do.
What, Gambit?
No, but
Patrols?
I think it's a very...
No, I mean, like anything hordish, like old altars of sorrow. Turn your mind off, kill a few things.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ooh, I'd rather do strikes than altars of sorrow.
Blind well. I mean, pretty much near the end of the season, any seasonal activity.
Strikes used to be so good too. They were like, I feel, again, this seems like, I don't think this was just because, I don't know, there was just so many more strikes also in D1, and they were always varying, and they put in like daily modifiers and really cool high-end modifiers, and then really tough ones that almost made them feel like Nightfalls at times. And there was just so much variability there and so many more strikes.
I'm going to blame your love of strikes for the fact that you're a Taken Tot.
I know that it wasn't great at first. I know. And then they had deprecated some, right? And so they weren't in the playlist, and you could only get them if you did the story. But then they came back finally at the end. So.
Like playlist, you're jumping far ahead for playlist, but no, like strikes.
You're gonna have to use them. You can't do Shiro Chi anymore for your experience to get your catalysts done.
No, you can still do Shiro Chi.
They took it away. They the modifiers are nothing anymore.
Modifiers? What do you mean?
Like when you kill the raid, killing a raid NPC gives you more experience than killing a non-raid NPC.
Oh, okay. So that's what both of you mean. You can still do it. It's just there's no benefit over other things now.
Yeah.
Okay. You just want to go where there's a large group of ads. Yeah.
Where did they change that?
Oh, I remember reading they were changing something.
Well, yeah, they gave you increased experience and other activities. That way people weren't farming Shirochi, but I didn't read anything about them changing Shirochi. So, like, maybe activity completions now award bonus progress on crafted weapons. Like,
they said something about Shirochi, and they didn't want people grinding
crafted weapons. It was the catalyst for weapons.
Maybe what they were just saying is they don't want people in Shirochi, so they didn't do anything to it, but the other ways are going to be quicker.
Yeah, because that's the only reason there was so much activity in Shirochi, because it was the best way to level up crafted weapons.
Well, once they got rid of throwaway, it was the best. I thought throwaway was better when.
I guess
when
the new way of doing it too is the mission in Neomuna, where you actually get a rally flag every time instead of wasting a raid banner.
Yeah, there's multiple ways to work on Catalyst now.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing something about them getting they were changing how Shirochi worked as far as experience for farming.
Huh. You'll have to send it to me.
And I always like farming heavy catalyst weapons in Dares of Eternity because you can get unlimited heavy ammo.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we better start wrapping up tonight. We're at the 2-hour mark, but any other last things that we didn't talk about? We'll have lots of time the upcoming weeks, of course. Continue on with Season of the Witch.
Did you cover everything on TWAB?
Patch notes were fucking Jesus.
Yeah, but I don't have time to go over all of them tonight. Unless there's something you really want to mention, Kato.
I mean, there was a couple things that were kind of nice.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you
Uh,
meant, okay, I'm even talking about the known issues in the TWAB I don't have time to go over. But yeah, the patch notes
no.
were humongous,
I didn't
as
even
usual.
read the TWAB, so I could tell you.
Yeah.
No, the patch notes themselves, just some of the things that I thought were really nice. Orbs should no longer roll around freely.
God, thank God.
Um, they fixed a thing for hunters and titans, I do believe, when you have when you're amplified and you jump, you no longer lose momentum on your second jump. That
Cool.
that was a huge thing.
I didn't even know as being a warlock, I guess.
Correct. It did not affect warlocks.
Huh.
So, if you had so much forward momentum from a grapple or being amplified or the boops and Ron where they send you forward, they would cancel your forward momentum on your second jump.
Yeah, jumps like accelerated did feel stubby at times when you were but that's been a problem forever. Well, of course, then
Yep.
again, the amplify and the grapple becoming a thing, so I guess more people have felt it in very more awkward situations. Whereas where before it was basically a controlled what those accelerating rings and man cannons and crap.
Right.
It is interesting now to know that that was an issue and not just a thing.
I thought it was just a thing. I
Right?
seen that in the TWAB. I'm like, oh, that's not supposed to do that. All right.
That's interesting. The more you know.
The more you know. What else? Anything else?
I don't remember. Just those two things kind of stuck out.
Nice.
Um,
and one small thing, finisher changes. I noticed that I was getting random finishers now. Well, they said because of the implementation of favoriting cosmetics, the option to favorite finishers is not here anymore.
Oh.
So if you want to use only a specific finisher, you have to just have that in your flare.
One.
Yeah,
Aw.
load the one. If you have more than one, it'll randomize between them.
Okay. Well, that's nice to know.
Field chair it is.
It's weird how just certain things affect each other sometimes.
Mhm.
Coding
That
is
line of code.
weird, right?
Yeah.
Just one line of code is anyway.
I mean, look at that one. This pulse rifle that screwed everything up from that they made with the weapon crafting, the different catalysts you can get.
Revision.
Revision 0.
Yeah.
I mean, the Monte Carlo, they said they had to test it for a long time with what they're doing, and there's still a small bug. I don't think this is going to make too many people mad, but the bug right now is when you do the melee, if you have Rumble on, which a lot of us don't, but Rumble is not working if you do the melee. Boo-hoo.
Ooh. And it's probably one of
So
those
be
things
careful.
that the testers themselves probably don't even have Rumble on because
Exactly.
that's the first thing people tend to turn off.
Yeah.
I feel because the first is Rumble, and then you slowly start decreasing the music.
Mm-hmm. And then eventually you get to the game sounds because you just don't care.
I don't know. I usually
Game
didn't
sound
screw
for
too
some
much
stuff.
with game sound. But yeah, Rumble was the first thing I cut off because that's also was a hot tip back in the day for Crucible because
PvP.
Rumble can blah blah this, blah blah that, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, then music as awesome as Destiny music is, I mean, when you play it for, especially to start with, a couple hours a day, and you're hearing these same tracks, it's okay, I'm done with you now.
All right. Well, good talk. Good talk. And this is week 1 of Season of the Witch. So we have a lot coming up. And even a moderate amount coming up before we get bored halfway through this season. We'll see if we do or not. Man, so next episode, the raid won't even be out yet. So it's a week from this Friday, a week from tomorrow as of recording right now. So, but undoubtedly we'll have stuff to talk about on that episode, unless we decide to push it back. Actually, we'll see because Sin is going to be working for us. Maybe we should do a Sunday night recording. Well, we'll get back with you. We'll find out. Yeah, to be determined. In the meantime, it was a pleasure having everyone on. Special guests, Kato, the second special guest, and then Rodimous, the first special guest.
Problem.
Where can you be found in the Discord? Is Problemous right now in the Discord, it looks like?
Yeah, it's at
Rodimus
Rodimous,
normal.
wherever. I got the name across them all tagged, so just at Rodimous, you'll find me through the Owl Sector Alliance.
Perfect. And Kato, do you even want to talk about your annoying name right now that Sin gave you? We'll just call you Kato.
What did he change it to now?
No, it's still the Beat Cheeks and Dip.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
You thought it was even another one?
Man,
I love the fact that this is such a common occurrence that Kato just doesn't even look anymore.
nah.
Well, we were trying to figure out who changed my name earlier before you got in here, Kato. So
Yeah.
I found that.
Oh, yeah?
It
Was it
was you,
Sin?
Kingsley.
What?
It was you. You changed his name to
What was it?
Problemous. I don't
Well,
know,
someone must
but
have told me to, or Rodimus told me to. I wouldn't have done it just
I
to be
probably
mean.
was
or-
starting some shit somewhere, and someone just told you to change my name to that, and I didn't really care at the time. So
Well, thanks for doing the
But yeah.
independent research, Des.
Also,
He
if
was
you
bored.
those classifications of actions for Discord adminish type people that can look into the audit log, those are under people like member updates.
Memberberry updates? No, member updates? Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
it's like member updates. You can filter the audit log for member updates, and of course, it's going to be slightly painful going through that because whenever Craig and if you're using bots to record, they technically update themselves, so they're all over that audit log.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we're very thankful of Craig and Giark nonetheless because they record the show for us.
well, you need
Indeed.
a live update in game real fast, though. You have to have that every week, right?
We do. And who's giving the live update right now? Anyone?
Me, Kato, and Ed just finished the Lake of Shadow strike.
Whoa.
Ooh. Was it everything you imagined and hoped it would be?
No,
It was really annoying.
There
Wait,
you
hear
have
me
it.
out.
Strikes are amazing.
Right? So wait, hear me out. Strikes need to be there.
Yeah, well, I do need to hop in more Nightfalls or Strikes though, because I do want the catalyst. So you'll be finding many of us in Strikes or Nightfalls, as Sin would say. You'll find Sin, who knows where. He did a concert tonight, and
Yeah, he went to go see Ghost at Amon Amarth. Like, this motherfucker.
Right.
yeah,
Which-
who knows if he'll be back next week.
He probably didn't even tell you guys that, did he?
He did, kind of very last minute.
He told us and sent us a picture of Amonaranoth opening.
And he said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you," or something
Yeah.
like that.
I've been so busy doing this, I forgot to tell you. And then since like a couple minutes later, sends the picture, is like, "Oh yeah, these guys are opening." It's like, but wait, you're there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. It's a true story.
It's like, wait a minute.
So
It's like, saying, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm not going to make it as you,
As you
didn't
find your
even-
seat for the show.
yeah.
I know, right? So who knows where you can find Sin? Out watching some Ghost concert or something. Des, what do you want to say about where people can find you?
You can find me across several of these Owl Sector Discords. I am there lurking, much like in this one. So it's like not a personal thing. I just lurk. So that's the thing.
Right on. We enjoy
Yeah.
the lurkers also. We appreciate everyone's in the Discord. And if you are listening to this and not in our Discord yet, please go to our lovely website and there will be a link there on how to join the Discord. It's like a message form thing. You do not have to be active. You can just pop in. We'll say hi to you. You can ignore us if you need, if you're shy. And then check out all the cool resources in there. And where, might you ask, is the website to find that information? Yes, it is www.theguardianhub.com.
The best hub on the net.
Thank you, Dez. You're the only one that can do that if Sin's gone.
That's what I'm going with.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this week. We really appreciate you, and we'll catch you all again next week. Have a good one.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.